Now we're going to get into something a little bigger here. This one is actually a 500cc, so this is an awesome cross-country bike, desert bike. So something you want to take out and maybe just do, if you want to do the Baja 1000, awesome bike for it, okay? So 500cc, 4-stroke, a lot of low-end torque to it. Obviously it's bigger cc, so it's going to be a little heavier for you too. So depending on your rider weight, riding style, maybe what you're looking for. So the EXC-F, great machine, 500cc, super solid bike. Now you also notice that this one is street legal, so you can take this to your destinations instead of having to actually throw it in the back of your truck and then trailer it or truck it to your play spot. So this one you can just rip right out. We're having some discussions about actually doing some light camping on one of these things. So you can throw a soft bag setup on this, and there actually are a lot of cage systems that a lot of aftermarket companies have come out with, where you can actually cage these up and put some bags on them as well. So something to kind of consider. Very durable bike. It'll accommodate a lot of weight to it. Now this suspension on this bike, this is more of it's more of a cammed preload set. So basically you've got a cam adjuster up here. So as you turn this dial, it's going to put more pressure down on the spring. It's got a 3-position setup. 0 is the lightest, 6 is the heaviest on the set numbers. So you do want to have these set equally. But the great thing about all these bikes is if you're curious about where that suspension is working for you, no one's ever talked to you about telltale rings. Each one of the bikes has one of these. Any of the Huskies, KTMs, or gases. Basically, this ring is going to tell you how that suspension is working for you. So, if you've got it set up on the heavier side of the suspension, and you're riding really hard, really ripping through things, and this is only coming down about that far, that means your preload is set too stiff, and you need to lighten it up. You want to see a good full stroke out of that suspension. So after the heavy bumps and everything, that's about as far as you want to see that compressing down. So if it's running too heavy, it's probably going to be hanging out up here. Ideally, you want to have it set there. So if you're at a lower number set on this suspension, that's going to give you a great example. Nice thing about the air suspension, it's not a hand turn, it's just air change. So you can get the same effect and same visual aspect out of it, but you just have to change air pressure on it. So a lot of different options on all these different models. So let's take a look at this one right over here. So this particular one is the XCW. It is a wide ratio. It's more designed for hard enduro, single track riding. Personally, one of our areas that we like to go up in is AF Canyon. And you're ripping through these tight little pine trees, and you can get just up into the deep canopy up in there to where no one even knows you're up there. This is a phenomenal bike for it. Very light, nimble. It's 150cc, so a lot of people think, oh, 150 is not going to do much for me, but they're a very capable bike. So something to keep in mind. Now this particular model is actually a TPI model. So this one, it is a 2-stroke, but you don't have to pre-mix your gas. You actually add your 2-stroke oil in the reservoir here. The reservoir chamber is actually right down here. It does all the pre-mixing internally in the throttle body assembly. So that way you don't have to worry about ratio mixing cups or anything like that. It's a brilliant system, works out pretty sharp, very well proven. Good deal. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions about any of these units. Don't hesitate to ask on any of these. This particular model does have your headlight as well. A lot of the units do have on and off switches for these, so if you want to leave the headlight on all the time while the bike is running, you can do that. Or if you want to run it dark during the day and then it starts getting a little shady, then you can pop on those lights and you'll have a little more visual out there. Awesome. This particular model, this is more of one of the cammed preload setups as well. So more of a manual adjuster, just like the 500 here. And then you can tailor it. Like I mentioned, all these bikes have telltale rings. Little tech tip, if you don't have these little rings on your forks, put a zip tie on your fork leg, and that'll tell you where that's working at for you. That's just an old racing trick, and if you don't have one of these. Or if you ever have your bike serviced and have the fork serviced, you can actually ask your technician to put a guide O-ring on there, and one of your fork legs will have an O-ring on there. That way you can use that in just that process right there.